The Art of Taking Action Lessons from Japanese Psychology by KRECH. Morita Therapy plus Kaizen plus Nikan. The essence of Morita's work is the fact that we have way more control over our behaviors, and we do our thoughts and feelings. Therefore, if we want to live effectively, that's where we should focus our energy. Kaizen, of course, is the practice of small, consistent, incremental improvement, and Nikan is all about cultivating our self-awareness. It's not just about doing more and procrastinating less. It's about your dreams, your passion, the risks you need to take, and the opportunity to forget yourself and simply disappear into the moment as it unfolds. It's about less talk and more action. It's about less blaming and more appreciation. It's about less mindlessness and more presence. You just need to figure out how to work with your life, with your circumstances, your feelings, your family members, your challenges, your dreams, and your disappointments. You have to figure out what you need to do, when you need to do it, and how to do it to your best ability. There's nobody whipping you from behind. Your life is in front of you, waiting for your next move. KRECH from The Art of Taking Action. Accept your thoughts and feelings. A Japanese psychiatrist named Shoma Morita, MD, developed a model of psychology now known as Morita therapy in the early part of the 20th century, rooted in Zen and borrowing from an Eastern worldview. It is an approach that fosters action. Morita's premise that our thoughts and feelings are mostly uncontrollable leads to his prescription: accept your thoughts and feelings. Rather than fight what goes on in your mind, simply accept it. Morita therapy is grounded on the central theme that our thoughts and feelings are not within our direct control. They are much more like passing clouds in the sky of our minds. Excitement, heroes in Sanskrit. It's not really the feeling of excitement itself which is the culprit here. It is the loss of excitement, which then prompts us to abandon our efforts towards fulfillment of our dreams, which were, at one time, very exciting to us. If anticipatory excitement moves us to action, the loss of excitement often prompts us to stop. Action dissolves into inaction. Meditation teacher Eknath Easwaran tells us of a Sanskrit word, arampeshura, which means heroes at the beginning. People who take up a job with a fanfare of trumpets but soon find that their enthusiasm has tiptoed down the back stairs. Arampeshura. To be a hero in the beginning. That's one of my new favorite words. Monotony is the law of nature. Look at the monotonous manner in which the sun rises. Mahatma Gandhi. Newton and Mr. Mo. Here's Newton's first law of physics. An object at rest stays at rest, and an object in motion stays in motion with the same speed and in the same direction unless acted upon by some outside force. Sir Isaac Newton was one of the most extraordinary intellects of his time. He realized that when an object is at rest, it will basically stay at rest unless something influences it. It's also true that when an object is in motion, it will basically stay in motion. This is what we refer to as momentum. This is why small steps can be so valuable. They offer momentum at a fairly low cost. In other words, it takes very little effort to create momentum. One push-up, one dish washed, one photo organized, one paragraph written in your novel to be. Have you gone very far? No. Do you now have momentum? Yes. And once you have momentum, you are more likely to continue in motion. One small step plus desired behavior equals high probability of further steps, sending ripples out into the world. So when we are confronted by indecision, we need to take action despite our doubts or confusion. We need to move forward, even if we're only taking small steps. Those steps, regardless of which direction they go in, are likely to give us new information and experience. Our actions send ripples into the world. The situation may change or reveal itself in a new way once we have moved to a new vantage point. Think of your life as a movie you are watching. You are midway through the movie and you don't know what is going to happen, but you're not supposed to know what is going to happen. The movie is not over yet. This is the challenge posed by the demon of indecision. Can you move forward in the face of uncertainty? Can you coexist with confusion and not knowing and take the next step? Gradualism, incremental changes over time. In June of 2006, Harriet, a giant tortoise, died at the ripe old age of 176. She was reportedly one of several giant tortoises that Charles Darwin collected on his visit to the Galapagos Islands. Harriet was a domed tortoise. She lived on an island that was fairly wet, where a domed tortoise had an easy time finding and munching on local grasses. Harriet had cousins called saddleback tortoises. The shells of these tortoises evolved in such a way that the tortoises could stretch their necks upwards and graze on above-ground cactus plants. This was necessary because the climate on the islands where they lived is much drier, so ground grasses are not readily available. This adaptation didn't happen instantly. It happened over millions of years. That's a time frame that probably isn't well suited to most of us when it comes to making changes in our lives. We want to lose 20 pounds. Not over the next year, but over the next month. We want to meet someone and fall in love with him or her and have a wonderful, romantic relationship. Not sometime in the next 25 years, but during the next few weeks. We want to become proficient at a martial art, or foreign language, or watercolor painting. But that proficiency must happen quickly, for our minds have very little patience for gradual learning and gradual change. Yet the general principle of what Darwin called gradualism, incremental changes over time, may give hope to those of us who have consistently tried and failed to make colossal changes in our habits or lifestyle. What's controllable and what isn't. Whenever we are facing a challenging situation, one of the wisest things we can do is take a few minutes to distinguish between what's controllable and what isn't controllable. Key elements of Morita therapy, and it's an example of how something very simple can also be very helpful. I suggest you use a pencil and paper. Simply divide the paper into 2 columns, and as you reflect on the situation, place each element into the proper column. What you end up with is a map that shows what you can work on and what you can't control. This empowers you to move forward and do what you can do. Tolerating feelings is of supreme importance. Feelings are sensations. The ability to tolerate sensations we'd rather not have is supremely important. Without such tolerance, our lives remain needlessly vulnerable to our wild and fickle feelings, and our plans get needlessly derailed. Without such tolerance, we can become preoccupied to an unhealthy degree with our private internal experience, and thereby become distracted from the world around us, the needs of others, and the tasks at hand. It is difficult to build our dreams without coexisting with the feelings that come up in the process of creating those dreams. Notice the feeling, recognize it for what it is, take a deep breath, and shift your energies to that which needs doing. That's the book in a nutshell.